Lesson we are going to discuss topic 8 in IBDP syllabus. Topic 8 is acids and bases. Topic 8 is acids and bases. First of all, we try to understand what are acids and bases. For that, we need to study certain definitions given in the IBDP syllabus. The first definition is Bronsted-Lowry acids and bases. Acids and bases. We have seen acids and bases at home. Can you tell me what are the acids we have at home? We have certain acids at home and certain acids in the laboratories. In our school laboratories, we have seen hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, nitric acid, all these. And at home, we can see citric acid, ethanoic acid, that is vinegar. All these are very common acids. So, what are the common properties of acids that we'll discuss later? First of all, let us see what Bronsted-Lowry says. According to Bronsted-Lowry theory, it is a definition of acids and bases. Acids are proton donor. Acids are proton. Proton means H ion. Proton donor. Acids are proton donors and bases or alkalis or alkalis are proton H ion acceptor. So a substance which donate H ion is called acids, and the substances which accept H ion are called bases or alkalis. I can give you some example here. When we dissolve an acid in water, what happens? So it is ethanoic acid, CH3, COOH is dissolved in water. What does it do with the water liquid? It donates H ion to water. So it behaves as acid here, it behaves as proton donor. So when it donates H ion, what happens to it? It changes to CH3, COO minus aqueous ion. And H ion is taken by water and hence it forms H3O plus aqueous. So hence in this example, this CH3COH ethanoic acid is donating H ion to water. It is Bronsted-Lowry acid. And water, which is accepting H ion, is called Bronsted-Lowry base. A substance which is produced, the ion which is produced when an acid donates H ion, is known as its conjugate base. Conjugate base. So this CH3COO minus is conjugate base of CH3COH ethanoic acid, and H3O ion is conjugate acid of water. So these two, acid and its conjugate base, are known as conjugate acid base pair. Conjugate acid base pair, and these two are another conjugate acid base pair. Conjugate acid base pair. What is the difference here we observe between these two, acid and its conjugate base? Base and its conjugate acid, what are the differences? What we can see here, the difference between acid and its conjugate base is of one H ion. It has CH3COOH and it has CH3COO ion, means it has lost one H ion. So difference between these two species is of one H ion. So difference between one acid and its conjugate base is of one H ion. Okay. So conjugate acid base pair, we can note down here conjugate acid base pair always differ by always differ by one proton or one H ion. This is the difference between conjugate acid-base pair. So in this example, we have taken acid and dissolved in water. Suppose I take a base and dissolve in water. Then what happens? Suppose it is ammonia. I have taken ammonia here. NH3 aqueous. If I dissolve in water, then what happens? H2O. It forms NH4 plus aqueous and OH minus aqueous. In this example, we can see that a base is dissolved in water. Then what happens? Base is a substance which accepts a proton. So it will take one proton from water and forms NH4 plus. What does it form? It forms NH4 plus, right? NH4 plus. So NH3 changes to NH4 plus means it has taken one H ion. It is a proton acceptor. So it is a base. In this case, water is donating H ion to ammonia, so water is behaving as an acid because it is donating a proton to water, to ammonia. When this S base takes one H ion from water, it changes to ammonium ion. So it is the conjugate acid of ammonia, conjugate acid of ammonia. And this one is conjugate base of water, conjugate base of water, right? So again we can see that these two NH3 and NH4 ion are conjugate acid base pair, conjugate acid base pair, and these two are another conjugate acid base pair. According to the definition what we have, which is acid, which is base, we can identify easily, and we can also find out which one is conjugate acid and conjugate base. So it is also conjugate acid base pair. In the exam, they can ask you a question to find out conjugate base of a certain acid or conjugate acid of certain base. Suppose I'm giving a question now. Give the formula of conjugate acid. Give the formula of conjugate acid. Of the following: A. Ammonia, B. HSO4 minus, C. Cn minus. So can you answer this question? Give the formula of conjugate acid of the following. Acid ammonia is a base. Its conjugate acid forms its conjugate acid when it gains one H ion. So conjugate acid will be NH4 plus. In the same way, when it gains one H ion, it changes to H2SO4. H ion and OH ion has 1 plus and hydrogen sulfate ion has 1 minus charge. So these two together will become neutral H2SO4 compound. HCN will also gain one H ion to form HCN. CN ion will gain one H to form HCN. So these are the conjugate acids of the bases given. Conjugate acids. In the same way, if they ask you to write some formula of some conjugate base of acids given, how to write the answer? Suppose I'm giving you a question now. Give the formula of conjugate base of the following acids. So the first one is HCO3 minus. HCO3 minus. Now you think about the conjugate base. I'm just giving some formulas. H2O, HCOOH, These are the acids, and the question says give the formula of conjugate base. Conjugate base is formed when acid loses one H ion. So what happens when it loses one H ion? What is formed? It forms CO3 2 minus. When water loses one H ion, what does it form? OH minus, right? And when HCOH, ethanoic acid, loses one H ion, then which H ion which is going to be lost? This one or this one? This is bonded to carbon. Actually, this hydrogen is the part of carboxylic acid group. So this hydrogen is going to be lost. So what the formula of SCOO minus. So these are the formulas of conjugate base of these acids given in the question. There is another definition that we need to study here in this chapter, although that is in the part of HL, higher level in acid bases. That is known as Lewis acid base. Lewis acid base, that another definition I'm giving you now. Lewis acids and bases. It is to be studied by HL students only. So Lewis says it says that an acid is an electron pair acceptor. An acid is an electron pair acceptor, and a base is an electron pair donor. An electron pair donor. Okay. So I'll give you one example. And in one example, we can find both acid, Lewis acid and Lewis base. What is that example? Ammonia. Suppose ammonia reacts with H ion to form ammonium ion, NH4 plus. Ammonia is a base and H ion is an acid. These two will react. But we need to find out which one is an electron pair donor and when electron pair acceptor, right? Electron pair acceptor is an acid, donor is a base. Here it is ammonia. In case of ammonia, nitrogen is having one lone pair of electron. But hydrogen ion does not have any single electron. How do they bond? You must have studied coordinate covalent bond in chapter 4. When ammonia reacts with hydrogen ion, it makes a bond with hydrogen ion by donating the lone pair of electron. Although hydrogen ion, you know, that doesn't have any electron. So it cannot share any electron to form a covalent bond. So to form a covalent bond between nitrogen, this nitrogen and hydrogen ion, two electrons are shared from nitrogen side, and as a result a coordinate covalent bond is formed. So when there is a reaction between Lewis acid and base, a coordinate covalent bond is formed. So these two electrons are shared. So finally what happens? There is a covalent bond formed between N and H. We can draw it like a line or we can draw it like an arrow. And positive charge comes over the whole molecule. In this case, it is ammonium ion is formed. In this case, we can see that ammonia molecule is electron pair donor. So it is Lewis base. And H ion is electron pair acceptor. So it is Lewis acid. I hope it is very clear what is Lewis base, Lewis acid. Now we have discussed till now Bronsted-Lowry theory and Lewis acid base. What are acids and bases? How do acids and bases form bond in Lewis acid base? Everything is very clear, I think. I'll end my class now. Thank you.